Hey everybody, DJ Lou here, and what you see behind is a little bit different as normal. My pop heads, my periodic table, my lightsabers and all, because this is my little backdrop for when I'm talking to clients. And I'm at my desk right now because I wanted to go over how I use Crate Hackers to kind of set up my day and everything and show some of the things that I'm doing to prep for my day. So let's stay tuned for this and see what I do. This episode of Paris Creative is brought to you by Q. Yes, Q is the platform developed by an event professional for event professionals, doing everything from contracts to proposals to timelines. Be sure to check out both Q Essentials, which is free, and Q Premium, which brings all the features. All right, so I don't want to waste any time. We're going to dive right into the desktop, and also I'm going to switch over into the setup. And as you see, I am still a virtual DJ user, been using this since 2018. Now, before we jump into things, I want to go over some of the general settings within Crate Hackers just to make sure everything's kind of set up properly for you. Be aware also that this version of Crate Hackers is a beta version. This is 3.0.24, so it could change from different public releases that could be coming out. But I wanted to definitely take advantage of this early release to kind of show some of the new, more powerful things, like they have categories now and all that. But let's get into settings first. And one of the first things you'll want to see, and there's actually a banner that pops up when you first start, is you'll want to manage your files and folders. Now, I cannot stress enough, you need to have your local library scanned and in here so that way you can match things up. So you'll go into your add folder and then you'll just go ahead and find whether the one or multiple folders, different locations that you're managing your music. So make sure you go ahead and do that. And also, if you jump into settings, there's a couple things you'll want to distinguish here. If you're doing things like virtual DJ, for instance, there's a whole general path that you'll want to distinguish for it. Of course, I do use virtual DJ, so great for my use. And also, you want to go into the pool selection and select the pools that you are personally subscribed to. Now, if you're not subscribed to these pools, naturally you cannot get the music from it. And I want to really stress, Crate Hackers is not a pool. It is an aid to find that music within pools, within Amazon, within Apple Music, and the such. But if you do have pools, specifically also late night, which actually allows you to integrate the folder within the structure of Crate Hackers, so it'll actually deposit that music right into the proper folder. Take advantage of this as much as possible. Personally, right now I'm doing DMS, heavy hits, and late night record. This is what I use. Again, select the ones that you'll use. But those are the major settings, and I wanted to just emphasize that this is something that you'll want to make sure that before you do anything else, make sure your files are actually distinguished in here, and also make sure that you got everything ready so you actually have a great experience with Crate Hackers. And what I'm going to do right now is actually to go over an event that I did prior and show how I kind of matched up songs within Crate Hackers, how I got that into virtual DJ, and how I kind of managed that through the night. So now I'm going to bring this link that I've already gotten from a client. These are the wedding songs that they had built up over the past basically 2 years, since even before I started talking to them. And I always invite the clients to go ahead, send me what they have. It doesn't matter even if it's wedding, oriented or whatnot, because then it'll give me some general ideas of the type of music that they like, even well beyond the standard pale of what I would play at a wedding. It's always kind of nice to know, because it just puts me in the mindset when I'm doing the wedding of some other areas I could go that might not be just part of where their selections were and all that. I've already got their list up here. They sent me this wedding song list. So what I already know I have this link right now. And what I can now do is go into Crate Hackers. I've already signed in. So all I'm going to do is bring this Spotify link in. And then it's going to go ahead and start processing what's in there. These are, it's never going to be 100% in the way that matches up. Sometimes you're going to have to take some liberties in the way that it may link up certain things. Like perfect example right now, Take On Me, there's a Kygo remix, there's a radio edit, which is the normal one that I use during my sessions, but I also have, there's this one Blinding Like the Phrase blend I've never personally used or whatnot, but I know I have it in my library. But you go ahead and you match what you think is the closest match to it. Now, what I'm doing in this case, when I'm getting clients who are sending me lists, especially lists of these size, I'm going to ultimately save it off as an idea. Again, this is never going to be 100% verbatim, but these are going to be a big guide for me. And I've learned over the years, while I could kind of try to memorize what they have, it's better just having a simple directory that I can always just kind of, jump right quickly to, kind of refresh my memory what they have picked. And, again, it may be a song that they've already chosen, or it may inspire me to play something else. Like, perfect example would Take On Me. I may already think, well, if these are, an 80s type of, crowd and whatnot, I might do Young Turks by Rod Stewart. I might go something newer and go into that Blinding Lights, but I do my own little, live remix for that. I just, again, I'm always trying to think when I'm seeing these things, but especially with large lists like this, again, I'm saving these off as ideas. So I'm just going to quickly scatter through each one of these. Not every one of them is going to be a match. Like this one, like I've never even played the Luca, remix before. I might even put that in the list at all. If it doesn't find something, I again am not going to panic. Now I do know that this I do have in my library somewhere. I'm going to actually go Greatest American Hero. And yep, surprisingly, so again, search is never going to be 100% perfect. It's searching by the file name itself. Is trying to make that quickest match on it, and it's never going to be 100% perfect. So just be mindful that, again, these tools are a guide and are an aid to all this. It is not going to be some end-all, be-all. But now what I can do to quickly kind of match this up, because I know I have it, I am going to go to File Operations. I'm going to find this in Finder. I know where it's at. Now I'm going to go into Crate Hackers. I'm going to go into Add Local File. It's going to pop up here. Again, you can do this on Mac, makes it real nice and easy. I drag and drop into it, so it hits it right there. And now I've matched it. So now that I've reached the end of this, what I'm going to end up doing is scrolling all the way back up to the top. And now I can do an export crate. And again, Serato Virtual DJ Record Box as well, Tractor, and you can actually do it to a playlist file. Now, one thing I mentioned earlier, I actually do have some scripts on my own, and maybe I'll share this to some people. This is kind of hard-coded, so I'm only ever going to share this out to people who actually know how to modify AppleScript. The beautiful thing on this is I can put in my date. I'm just going to put in today just for the heck of it. 8/27, I'm going to put Joe and Jess. And this just gives me the visualization in the playlist of who I'm, getting this all for and whatnot. So if I go into my playlist now, oh, I said Jope, oh well. But I've actually now categorized all my music in its major sections: ceremony, pre-ceremony, my own selections, slow dance selections, play if possibles, must plays, and whatnot. And actually I need to actually add this to my script, because now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this sequentially, and I'm just going to put ideas. And when I go into Crate Hackers, I'm going to export. And it's just going to export it as just a standard playlist right now. It's going to be whatever the name of the playlist is. But I'm going to go ahead and drop this into the ideas section. And now I have whatever songs had matched up and everything into it. Now, again, I'm using these as simple guides, and you'll see also I have like some versions, it may match up those explicits and whatnot. So I cannot stress enough, I'm using this idea as literally just a little like area of ideas to kind of come off of. But it's giving me that quick dump of information, especially if the clients are sending this information late, and being able to bring that in there and be able to use that to help kind of guide my night if necessary. This new beta release that they have now, they actually have a category sections in here, which I think is absolutely brilliant. This is something I actually was putting in my notes as something that I was hoping that they were adding, and they were already adding it. So kudos to the team for thinking ahead and making sure that they're staying, with the curve with this and all. But again, you can go through different categories, and maybe you have a graduation party that's coming out, so maybe you got that kind of new house flavor. These are all been submitted by some fairly significant people within the industry who has really kind of offered their particular part of their craft. Now, I know some of the old heads are going to be out here. It's like, I do not need a tool like this. I've been DJing for so long. I've been DJing since '88. I still bring records to a wedding every now and then if the clients want that and all that. So I definitely know how to music program. I mean, there's no there's no argument, I feel, that Crate Hackers is somehow shortcutting things. What I think this is really doing, it's allowing a wider breadth of music that people might not have a great amount of experience into. Again, you could be in a subgenre that you're just not really particularly deep dove into over the years. Again, there might be some great music that somebody on the West Coast has been spinning for ages that never just really hit on the East Coast, but hell, you've got a West Coast couple that you're entertaining, or you're a traveling club DJ and you happen to be down south and your music format is a little bit more northeast and whatnot. Well, that's not going to fly down south. So being able to see again what Crate Hackers has already embedded as part of between their hackathons and everything else that they've been able to provide in this, and also being able to take external lists like Spotify and whatnot, and really just being able to sift through the cream of the crop. I think this is a really indispensable tool that somebody could be in the industry 30 plus years. I've been over 30 years myself, or somebody that's new coming in and they get an exposure to something that they might not have had otherwise. Now, everybody's going to be very subjective, and I can't stress that enough. This is a very subjective industry to begin with. Music is highly subjective. The sound is highly subjective. All these things have a very different craft from different people, different styles, different locations, and whatnot. So you might look at a list like I'm looking at this right now, and I might not necessarily want the Drake side into this equation, but of course, hell yes, Robin S., A Craze, CC Pennison, of course, Crystal Waters. Why did this? Again, I can't stress enough that this isn't going to be 100%, but I know for certain. So mine actually has the slash la-di-da in it, so it's long enough where that kind of fuzzy logic doesn't go far enough. But again, what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to open a Finder. I'm going to match this one up for sure. Add a local file. Voila. And again, this always will take a little bit of time to get used to and all that, but it's really not a hard program to grasp by any stretch of imagination or whatnot. You can preview the music as well. It's pulling in the energy, dance, and mood. I've always been a little kind of skeptical, and this is not a Crate Hackers thing whatsoever. This is the way that it's being stored in databases out there, where I might think that the mood is actually a little bit, I would say much higher in this case for, Gypsy Woman and all that, but subjective. Again, this is all very subjective. Again, if you have different mashups and mix-ups, it's going to do that. Usually when I'm mashing up, especially primary songs, I am doing it to the most common song, usually the album release of it. But hey, if you're a remix artist and whatnot, this is definitely that chance to kind of match up a remix that you might actually have in your library and completely forgot about it. So seeing these lists and see how that they kind of connect up is definitely a good thing. I definitely think I'm going to have mostly matchups in here. I'm going to keep on hitting pools, and here's a perfect hit right now. Late Night actually has this Acuna song. It's a clean cut too, and thanks to being Late Night, I can just click Add to Crate, and now it's actually going to put it in one specific folder that I have dedicated for this on my hard drive. And now all I have to do is just rescan my virtual DJ, and that music will be in there. The next beautiful thing is as I export all this, all these are going to be kind of put together. Now, This is a really big thing, especially for those who may be weak in a particular genre. Again, I am weakest in country by far. I don't do too many country weddings, but I have gone through a few here and there. I actually had an all country wedding some years back, so I can kind of work my way in. But I don't have that deep breadth of knowledge within the genre yet. So this is going to allow me to see what other people have, submitted as part of what their expertise has been in their particular areas and whatnot. I do hope that they actually have an author section in here at some point, just so you can see who's also authoring it. You can actually go into a list and it will actually not only, of course, match, it will actually show who's submitted it as well. Just love to see that in the columns as what they have. But now I can take this Country Dance Party 6, and again, because what Crate Hackers does is going to match up all the songs that I have in my particular library and assist me basically in trying to find songs that I don't have. So we're going to do it really quick. We'll scroll back up. I'm going to export the crate into Virtual DJ. Now I'm going to go back into Virtual DJ here. I got the Country Dance Party 6. And as you'll see now that this, I want to kind of dive in just a little bit more too, and I'll link another video below. I use a solution that I call shortcodes to kind of assist me into categorizing my music and kind of baking in that, that information into the file itself. So I'm going to just sort right now by composer. This is the one that I particularly sort, my own personal rating, a dance rating in this case, if it's a cocktail kind of vibe. As well. A C and D is that particular shortcut for that. But as I said, sorting through here in Composer, you'll see there is a number of songs here that did match up that I actually don't have a personal rating on. So what I'm actually going to do, because somebody has essentially social proofed this for me, I'm going to take these couple other songs, I'm going to bulk edit all these, and now I'm going to choose them as these are good danceables. Now, this again, this is a beauty of Virtual DJ that allows me to bulk edit songs like this. You can, of course, use other tools that are out there, like Jacos is one that I used to use a lot with Serato, where you can take a whole bunch of songs and make some additional pieces in this. Something else I'm going to do is make sure that all my genres and groupings are pretty clean. I noticed that not all of these are, so I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to go into genre. It's just going to be straight up country. And I definitely have had many songs that I still haven't personally gone really deep into and have really kind of cleaned everything up. So I'm consistently doing this every single time that I'm editing for a wedding and all that, because now I can go into country, I can go into all country, and I can go DMC. And now I have every single danceable country song available, and I'm continuously now building these lists to help augment what I have listed in here. And it's, again, since I'm not a big country person, I've just kind of done classic and modern, so just some year cutoffs in here. But yeah, I could actually bring in a lot of different subgenres if I really got super deep with that honky tonk, with bro country, with renegade, with that Texas Tejano style. There's a lot of different things that could be done with this. For me, for country, since I'm a generalist really in this field for sure, I go pretty light on this. But we can go like into R&B, and you just see I'm big into R&B, so I have my 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, so I have some decade breakouts in here. I've got my pop, my doo-wop, my Motown stacks, and Tamla. I've got some boogie, some go-go, some in the pocket, funky diva. Again, gives me just more detail as I'm deep diving into a particular set. And maybe it's a New Jack vibe, and hey, I want all the New Jack danceable songs. The combination of being able to use something like Crate Hackers to continuously augment my library, to be able to split off very great curated sets through again, a number of people who have submitted. Again, country, we have a few in here already. There's a particular just open wedding one with a whole bunch of stuff, lots of different people submitted in here. But each one of these allows you to really, again, at a minimum, check to make sure that what you have is, you're not missing anything within your list. And number two, to be able to particularly deep dive into something you might not have had as much knowledge into. And these have, again, have been socially proofed by other DJs who have submitted them in here. Three, again, you can bring in whole Spotify lists to be able to bring in a whole new set and wave of different songs into your set. This is just a great tool to be able to kind of process all these things and, to really just kind of make the most out of everything that you have. I've talked about this a few times on the various groups that are out there and whatnot. And, I find a hesitation from the quote unquote, the older heads that are out there that, oh, I don't need this. I know my music and all that, and that's great. I'm an old head. I've been doing this since '88. I've spun vinyl, I've spun CDs, I've spun digital. And in the end, technology is your friend. In the end, it might open a whole new window of, creativity and whatnot. I wouldn't stress that you should say, oh, hey, such and such, like, Bun's got his, little VIP crates in here that, you follow this particular crate verbatim or anything like that. That's furthest from what I think people should use these tools for. But you can get a sense of, oh, wow, this song is actually playing well in some, areas, and I haven't played this in a long while. Maybe I'll re-inject that in my set. Frankly, I haven't played Toxic in probably 6 years, 7 years in my set. I might actually, think that out again. I know Bun's done it, and it gives me, a few ideas. It just allows you something to augment your knowledge, your sets, your creativity. And I can't stress enough that these are tools that we should all embrace. We should definitely give it a try. The naysayers, especially the older heads, and again, I'm an older head that's out here, but I can embrace technology and I can see a really great solution when it's out there, and this has definitely been a top-notch solution that should be in any DJ's arsenal, bar none. Well, there's a video, and I hope you like this, a little bit of a different background, a little bit of different approach. If you like this video, share the hell out of this, hit that thumbs up and all. Be sure to tune in for more. I'm sorry that I haven't had a good consistent stream of videos out. It's been very, very busy 2022 for me, but I'll try to get some more videos out. Stay tuned, everybody.